Welcome back to another episode of Fox Sports Lab NRL. I'm Eloise Sawyer, joined alongside Josh Morris. Josh, great to see you. Of course, State of Origin is looming. Round 13 is here. Of course, this is a split round. You're looking forward to this weekend of footy?
Yeah, I am. Obviously, we're going to see a few sides that are heavily affected by Origin. So we'll have to see how they can get through this period. But the sides have been named, and I really like the look of the blue side. We'll talk about that more in depth as the week goes on next week. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the football still. I think we've still got some quality games.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll touch on that later in the week or early next week in regards to Origin. But first up this weekend for round 13, it's the Eels taking on the Sharks. The Eels are $1.73. The Sharks are the outsiders here at $2.12. The Eels, well, Trent Barrett, he's made a couple of changes as well to this side. Do you like them?
Look, I think when you get Mitch Moses and Clint Gutherson back, you've got to put them in the side there. So they are massive ins for the Eels. Will Penasini comes back in. He was out with an infection last week. That means that Blaze Talangi goes back to the bench, which I don't mind. We've seen Pappenhausen used like that in the past for the Storm, and it's worked. And Wiremu Greg joins the side. He hasn't been in the side since round 5. Junior Paulo, he wasn't selected in Origin. I think he's going to want to show that he's still a force to be reckoned with. But I think the boost of Moses and Gutherson is huge, especially playing at home. I think we're going to see the Eels back to their best. For the Sharkies, obviously no Nico. Jack Williams goes into lock for Cam McInnes, and Toby Rudolph is back. So that's really good for the Sharkies. He bolsters their forward pack. It'll be interesting to see how they respond though to that big loss, whether they come out a bit gun shy or they just forget about it and try and go back to business as usual. Obviously still sitting in first, but could potentially lose back-to-back games in this one. I've actually tipped the Parramatta Eels in this one. I just think the side will have a massive boost from welcoming back King Gutho and Mitch Moses, and I think they'll respond accordingly.
Yeah, if there's any time to get the Sharks that Nico Hines, it's this round indeed. Up next, it's the Knights at home, $1.56, hosting the Bulldogs, $2.44. Now, the Knights are fresh off that bye as well, so that's certainly going to help them in this one.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, they've got a few injuries still. Bradman Best is out with that hamstring injury, but Safidi is back in, and Mapa Palangi, I think it is he's come in for Bradman Best. For the Dogs, though, they're affected by Origin as well, with Burton kick out is injured, and Crichton is also away with Origin duties. Hutchinson and Sexton are in the halves, and Preston goes back to the starting back row. Worrying signs for the Doggies, though. They've lost 10 of their last away matches, so they're not too good on the road. For the Knights, they've won 9 of their past 11 at home. And the surprising thing, I guess, is without Kalen Pong, everyone kind of wrote them off, but they've actually won 4 in a row without him. So they're all banding together, and they've all lifted, without his presence there. So I just think there's too much strike missing from the Dogs when you talk about those 3 key players missing. So I've tipped the Knights in this one.
All right, Knights to get the job done at home. Up next, of course, it's the Premiers, $1.35, hosting the Dragons, $3.15. Now, the Panthers, we know Nathan Cleary obviously is injured, but they too have got a lot of players missing through this Origin period as well. If there's any time for the Dragons to get the Panthers, is this it?
Yeah, it would have been it, but if you look at the Dragons, they've got massive outs as well. I mean, Ben Hunt, Max, Jaden Sewer, all in Origin, and then they lost Jack Bird and Hame Sally to injury. So they've got massive issues, and their depth is tested as well. I mean, Penrith, they're used to this time of the year for the last 3 or 4 years. They're used to having a bulk of players out. I think they can handle this a lot better than what the Dragons potentially can. And I think for the first time ever, we might see 2 sets of twins in the same team, the Finau's and the Couchman twins. So they've got to rely on their youngsters to try and get the job done. But I think Penrith, they've won their last 8 at home. I think they're going to win, notch up 9 in a row. And I think it's going to be a big win as well. I'm tipping them 13 plus.
13 plus for the Panthers to get the job done over the Dragons. That is huge. Up next is the Dolphins, $1.56. Raiders, $2.44.
Yeah, well, this one's at KO Stadium, so I've tipped the Dolphins in this one. I mean, they are missing the hammer. Kafusi goes through in Origin as well. But Mark Nichols starts. But Trey Fuller comes in, and there's a similar thing happened when the hammer went down. Everyone thought, oh, well, there go their chances. Their attack might suffer. But Trey Fuller had been their best player. And, he was pretty unlucky. If it wasn't for the hammer, he probably would have kept his spot. So I think they'll be confident. Herbie Farnworth looked outstanding last week. They were unlucky to not get the job done against the Warriors. But Canberra, they welcome back Josh Papali'i. But Hudson Young, obviously, away with Origin too. So he's their best player's missing. But I think the Dolphins, the way that they play, that they will have a measured performance, and I think that will get them the win in this one.
Last but not least for this round, obviously, because there are 7 teams that have the bye, we have the Roosters $1.10, Cowboys $7.20. Like, this is the biggest margin we've seen so far this year.
Yeah, and look, I think it's not far off either. I mean, the Roosters, they're missing a couple through Origin, but one notable in the sheet is James Tedesco, and he needed a big performance to try and stake his claim last week, and against the Raiders, he was the best on the field. So, the Blues' loss is the Roosters' gain, and it's a massive game. For the Cowboys, they have a lot of outs, obviously, with Origin. Dearden, Valentine Holmes, Robson's, Nane, Tuolungi, and Cotter. So
huge.
You take all those players out, all that experience out. That's the reason why the odds are so heavily slanted. And the fact that the Cowboys against the top 8 sides previously, they've lost their last 6. So, I think all signs point to a big Roosters victory. And I think the man at the front of that Roosters victory will be James Tedesco. He scored a try in his last 7-day game. So I think you could find him on the try scorers list. And I think there may be a few others as well, Eloise.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Roosters will get the job done there and get it done convincingly. And Tedesco out maybe with a point to prove as well after missing out on Origin selection. Josh Morris, thanks so much for your time. As always, we'll chat on Monday as we discuss all the ins and outs and talking points around Origin.
Look forward to it, Eloise. Enjoy.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.